Okay, we good Erev Shabbos, good Erev Shabbos Shuvah, as we have the pleasure of learning. Remember, learning is the best preface to Tshuva. We say, Hashiveinu avinu l'sarasecha, v'karbeinu malkeinu l'avodasecha, v'achazireinu b'seshuva shleima l'fanecha. But the bracha starts off with Hashiveinu avinu l'sarasecha, because the Torah, the mitzvah, gereres mitzvah of Torah helps us to do a tshuva. So we are sponsored by the Fisher family, Lili Nishmas Basi Bas Rabbat, Shlomo ben Avram Alevi, Perel Bas Ruvain. We're sponsored Lili Nishmas David ben Chaim, Lefu Shalem, for Yomis Mechai Sarah, Yaakov ben Bas Yileh, for the schus of Avram and Yom Benish ben Malki Yehudis, by Yoel Klugman and family, for their Parnas Gesund and Menachos. We learn Lefu Shalem for having Duraya ben Rivka and the Bas Chai Sarah, Moshe ben Esther Fradel, Chana Bas Sheshabina, Rivka Bas Shirlei, Yitzchak ben Tziyam ben Dusha, Chayisar Bas Sheshabina, and Meir ben Chayisar. They should have a refuah shalem of B'sech Shecha Yisrael. We are finishing the 7th parak and starting the 8th parak of Menachos. Isn't that amazing? As we learn the 6th Mishna in the 7th parak. So we said that a taida that you have to bring can only be brought minachulin. So minayin la'omer hariyalai taida lo yavi ela minachulin. You could only bring it from chulin. Shenemar, because it says, and this pasuk is one of the most incredible psukim in the Torah. It doesn't have a pashup shat. If you learn it in cheder and the child asks you a question, Shenemar v'zavachta Pesach v'Hashem elikecha, you'll slaughter a Pesach to Hashem elikecha tzayin uvakar, from the flock and the cattle. Now, tzayin is keves and sar, but bakar is large livestock. Now, that can't be referring to the Korban Pesach, because the Korban Pesach can only be a yearling. V'aloyim Pesach b'elam and akvasim me'izim. It only comes from sheep and goats, not from the cattle. In kein lama nema tzayin uvakar. El lahakish kol haba min ha'bakar min ha'tzayin. It comes to juxtapose anything that comes from bakar and tzayin, like a shlamim, like a taida, la Pesach, to the Pesach. Ma Pesach, shu ba b'chay ve'ein ba'elam min ha'chulin. Just like Pesach, which is an obligation, could only come from chulin, because the Pesach that was brought in Mitzrayim the first time, there was no meiser, so it could only come from chulin. So af kol davar shu ba b'chay, so anything else that's obligatory, lo yavei ela min ha'chulin. It only could come from chulin. Lefikach ha'omer hariyalai taida hariyalai shlamim. If he accepts upon himself a thanksgiving offering, a peace offering, since they're obligatory, lo yavo ela min ha'chulin. Now, v'nesachim, libations, even voluntary libations, and the meal offering that comes with it, b'chol makom lo yavo ela min ha'chulin, which could surely only come from chulin. That's because the money of Meiser Sheni has to be eaten in Yerushalayim, and the nesachim are poured down the shitin, and they're not eaten, and the minchas nesachim is burnt totally on the mizbeach. So obviously you can't use Meiser Sheni for that. And now we start the 8th parak. Kol karbanos hatzibur v'yachid, all meal offerings, whether communal or private, ba min ha'aretz and mechutzatz. It could come from grain from Eretz Yisrael or from outside of Eretz Yisrael. Min ha'chadash, from the new crop after the shtei halechem was brought, or min ha'yashim, or from the old crop. Chutz min ha'omer, except for the barley brought on the 16th of Nisan, or shtei halechem, and the 2 loaves that are brought on Shavuos, she'enim ba'an ela min ha'chadash, they have to come from the new crop, or min ha'aretz, and that has to come from Eretz Yisrael. Now, the kulan ein and bun, in all cases, it should only come ela min ha'mufcher, from the choicest grain. Now, if you want to know what grade A grain is, ve'ezeh mufcher, what's grade A grain? Michmas u'mezonicha, the areas of michmas and mezonicha, that's alpha l'seilis. That's grade A for fine flour. Shnia, the next best lahem, is chafarayim, in the valley of chafarayim. Now, kol ha'ratzos shapes, as we said, it's kosher from all over. Elamikana These were the choicest place. These were min hamufcha. Okay, first of all, I want to let you know that I did actually. It says you should tell people when you do them a favor. I 2:20 a.m. last night, I first recorded for the Shabbos Shuvah table, so that it should be available the whole Friday for everyone. I know people are still on the West Coast and other places. There's still plenty of time in the day. I direct you to a very fascinating shir called the Shabbos Shuvah table. It's in the Shuvah section on Torah Anytime. Of course, it's on YouTube and on Kol Lashon as well. Also, I want to remind you with Shabbos Shuvah, besides doing Shuvah, it's a good idea to go to Shabbos Shuvah Drasha. First of all, the Rav prepared to give you his Cyrus. Second of all, and this is very important, by going to the Rav Shabbos Shuvah Drasha, you're giving Kavod HaTorah, and Kavod HaTorah is even greater than learning Torah. It says in Masechtas Megillah. And it also elevates the eyes of the Rav in other people's eyes, people that really need the Rav. You might not need it so much. You could open up a sefer and maybe be Messiah yourself, but other people need the Rav. And when they see somebody like you going, it generates other people. When we said, Avinu Malkeinu Kasveinu B'Sefer Zechuyos, the Zechuyos that we get from radiating, we don't even realize it, radiating impressions from what we do and what we cause other people to do. So somebody might come to the Rav's Drasha, and the Rav might speak about improving Shalom Bayis, and he'll improve his Shalom Bayis, and you'll get the credit because you went. He said, well, if he could go, then I guess I should go too. Daf Yomi, Motzi Shabbos, 2 Blat, at 9:15, zoomdaf.com, RMMW, capitalized. Thank you very much for joining us, and have, of course, a Gemar Chasima Teiva.